All right, we are back in California. This is where I usually am in California. And we just want to talk about basically our journey in Japan and now what we're going to do now moving forward. So actually the past few days I got back I think 5 days ago at this point, and the past few days I've just been kind of like in this transitional phase, as well as also like I have a small cough. And I think it's because like literally on the plane, the three people behind me were all coughing like really badly. Like it sounded like one of those really wet coughs with a lot of phlegm, kind of gross. But so like those three plus the people on my like far left, like I was in the middle seat of the middle aisle. So there were just people coughing around me everywhere. And I really dislike that. I feel like the people behind me weren't wearing masks or anything like that. And it just, yeah, I definitely got slightly infected by it because the past few days my throat was like feeling really, really dry. And I felt like I wanted to cough a lot, but I didn't, which I only coughed a little bit. And now I'm okay. Like, well, my throat still hurts at night sometimes, and it feels really dry at night. But when I wake up, and I also ate like cough drops yesterday, which really helped. It felt less dry and it feels more hydrated during the day, and I feel okay now. Like I didn't really actually have any bad coughs. I only coughed like maybe 2 or 3 times last night, and that's it. So I dodged a bullet. Hopefully I'm not like kidding myself and I end up having the cough. Anyways, so the cough aside, transitional phase, I was definitely also watching some entertainment. I watched like Apothecary Diaries for anime, and then Samurai Champloo. For Samurai Champloo, I've been watching that entirely without any subtitles, and I can understand a good amount of it, so I'm really happy about that. My Japanese practice has been, I guess, really slow lately. Even while I was in Japan, it was pretty slow. So I'm happy that I'm still improving somewhat. But it's time to get back on it. So this is the day where let's actually mark today. What day is it today?
It's Tuesday, April 22nd, 2025.
Okay, there you go. So I came back about 5 days ago, around the 17th, I believe. And then, yeah, just been trying to gather my thoughts, trying to figure out like what exactly is the next step. Of course, finishing the audiobook is one of the bigger steps, but I like having, I guess, a lot of, the full picture in mind as well, not just the audiobook. So I've been thinking a lot about how I did the YouTube challenge in Japan, the best of me in Japan as well, just like how I talked about finding yourself and what that means to me. It's more like forging yourself and bringing like the best part of me in Japan, plus me from Tokyo, plus me from Kyoto, plus me from here, and trying to like merge them and combine them. So those are all things that I've been thinking about, and also the goals that I set as well before I left for Japan. Some of them were like finishing certain piano pieces, my originals for my first music album, which I managed to do 2 of them, which I am pretty glad about, although I do feel like I could have done better if I were here. And trying to keep up with piano practice, I did for the first month, but after that, it kind of fell apart, especially after I moved to Tokyo. And then also keeping consistent with exercise and all that stuff, doing the whole AI challenge as my fitness coach. I'm actually going to drop that because I did more research again in terms of like, I did some thinking again on what I actually want my goals to be for fitness. And I'm like, I really want to do a body transformation type of thing. It doesn't have to be like extreme difference, but I do want to actually track like how I can improve like just being more lean, I guess, with like the exercises I do, just doing more hypertrophy rather than strength. Because when I did my challenge where it was 50 pull-ups and 100 push-ups every single day, that doesn't help you gain muscle. It's more so helping you gain some level of strength, like sort of making your nervous system very used to doing the motion. But now I'm actually going to look, I already looked it up, so I'm going to follow what everyone says, basically, which is try to do 2 workouts for each muscle group per week. So for instance, if I want to grow my chest or something, then I want to do like exercises for my chest. And the one that I looked up, which was the best one, is incline press. So there's a bench over there. I'm gonna use it as at an incline where I'm just like doing this and just basically pressing something, probably dumbbells. And gonna do that for at least a set of 3 or 4, and enough reps where at the end I do feel like fatigued in some way. So that way it's my muscles going into hypertrophy and then it'll grow. So, and do that twice a week per muscle group. So 3 different exercises, or at least 1 really, really good exercise for each of them. I try to have around 3 that helps with a single muscle group, and I'll spread it out. And I'll talk about that in a different video, but we'll basically be keeping track of that from now on. I feel like doing the whole AI fitness thing was kind of like a gimmick in a way. I did it for fun, but at the same time, I just feel like it's not that useful. And I'm still going to continue with the kinetic stuff, which is increasing my cardio fitness level. That is something I started, I think, in November. It's April now, and it's not really increased much at all. So what I'm going to do for that one, I also looked it up, is once a week, I'm just going to do a HIIT exercise, like a really, really good one. So there's something called the 4x4, and basically all I'm gonna do is warm up for 4 minutes, then do 4 minutes of probably some form of running or sprinting, something that really, really gets my heart rate up, and then 4 minutes of rest, and then repeat that 4 times. I think excluding the warm up, or I'll at least have some little bit of warm up before doing the sprinting each time. So it's like a small jog for a minute or something. I don't know. I'll figure it out once we start doing it in full, but that only needs to be done once a week according to what I researched out there. It's mostly just YouTube videos from people who really seem like they know what they're talking about, especially when it comes to the whole like physique type of thing. Like I'm watching people who are extremely muscular talk about it, so I'm pretty sure it'll help me at least a little bit because I am pretty skinny. So that's one thing that we're gonna continue to do. It's something I feel like we're gonna continue to do forever. I just really enjoy it. And then the YouTube challenge, like we mentioned, it was pretty much a failure. I managed to do it every day for 30 days straight, a main channel video, but the results were not great. I haven't actually looked at the numbers, but while I was doing the challenge, I was looking at the numbers, so I haven't looked at it since then. But it's almost been 30 days since the last day, since day 30. So I decided to wait 30 days before I actually do the main video where I talk about the challenge. But yeah, so that way I can look at all the numbers and see how it actually fully went. So I guess we'll hold off on talking about that. But for now, I do really want to update my idea of what it takes to actually work on the skill of creating viral content, or content that is highly viewed, basically. So I've been doing a little bit of research for short form content as well, and how to actually make good short form content. So that's something that's going to be coming up, and I'm not giving up on that. I feel like I said it once before, I'm very stubborn when it comes to these things, and I want the skill. I think the skill is what entices me the most. It's not really actually having a channel that gets a lot of views or whatever. It's more so the skill of being able to create a video that gets a lot of views. Because if I have that skill, then I can apply it to a whole lot of different things, and I feel like that would be very useful. So that's something that I want to continue working on. And then also the Rubik's Cube. I have been getting faster and faster, and I also bought a new one. It's this is the brand Moyu or whatever, but it was suggested by JPerm, which is a very popular YouTuber that does Rubik's Cube stuff. So, well, he suggested a lot of cubes. This was one of the cheapest ones. I think I got it for like $10 or less. So definitely way better, honestly. The people who commented telling me to get a new one, I appreciate it, because yeah, I left the old one in the share house for people to use, in Tokyo, and this new one, it just feels so much better. It feels so much faster. I'm faster. I actually did it under 1 minute yesterday. So I successfully did the challenge. It took, I guess if you were to count days where it's like total days, so I started it around March 3rd, and yesterday was April 21st. So about 50 days for me to get this under 1 minute. But I will say I haven't touched this in about a week, I'd say. About 2 weeks almost. 1 week. No, 2 weeks, because we left to Kyoto. Yeah, we left to Kyoto and we did not touch this at all because it was in the share house in Tokyo. So 2 weeks we haven't done this. So it's closer to around like 30 something days where we managed to get under 1 minute. But we didn't record it, so we still have to do that. But I feel like every time we're doing it, we're getting faster and faster. So it's gonna be fun to make a video about that. But there's just a lot going on, and one of the priorities that we really have to focus on is getting the audiobook out there, as well as making more money because we definitely spent a lot while we were in Japan, and you know, the way we're able to be in Japan is because of a lot of the prior work we've done with like freelance and YouTube and Skillshare and all that stuff that still earns me money on the side. It's like somewhat passive income as long as I continue to make stuff, but it's not enough to actually live comfortably, I'd say. It's like enough to live in Japan comfortably, but not like in California. So I have to like really increase that amount and think about projects that help me do that. So that is a priority after the audiobook. I mean, the audiobook is a project that could help with that a lot. So definitely gotta get that done. That's number one priority, but I'm just thinking about everything, you know, and everything that I care about, everything that I like. And piano is another one. We are finally gonna get back into that and actually start practicing again, like for real. Playing by ear, that's got to continue, and also like just learning new pieces, because I feel like we haven't learned any real new pieces in a while. So that's a big one for me as well. And overall, in terms of my state of being and how I feel pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. Like last time I came back from Japan last year, from January to the beginning of January to the middle of May, I was in Japan for about 130 something days. When I came back, I felt so sad and depressed and so bad for a good month or two. And it took me a long time to, like, it was a struggle to really get back to my normal state, to really feel good again and ready to like do things. But this time around, I didn't suffer any real jet lag after 2 days. My sleep schedule was like pretty much perfect again. And last year, it was like jet lag for about 2 weeks, I'd say. I felt like my schedule was just completely off and I had so much trouble sleeping. So it's either my body adapted or my mindset is just better, but I am like way more excited and motivated and just like overall ready to get things done. Like I feel good. I feel like I can focus again. I actually do feel like me being in the Tokyo share house did kind of make it harder to focus on things. I think it was just because, one, you're in Japan, you want to explore, you want to go out and do things. So part of your brain is just like, well, what am I gonna do today? What am I gonna do tomorrow? Where am I gonna go? What am I gonna go see on the weekend and stuff like that? And it occupies some focus for sure. And also just interacting with the people in the share house, like it's fun. It's just fun to socialize and everything every night. But now that I'm back here, I'm kind of like, all right, it's just me mostly here. And I'm just gonna do my thing. So let's get it done. And I feel like I'm slowly over time, I know this isn't like the best thing, but I'm slowly over time accepting that, I don't know, I'm being more comfortable being alone, I guess. So I'm just like, okay, it's fine, you know. And it honestly feels fine. I think a lot of what I was thinking about back then was just like trying to to feel better about being alone, and I feel better right now. I know over time I'm gonna want that to change again, but for now it's fine. And we will start a project where we call it like not curing loneliness, more like just solving loneliness, I guess. So being able to, yeah, we'll talk about later. It's a project where we have the steps in mind already, but yeah, this video is already getting too messy. I'm just talking about everything right now that's on my mind. But I also intend on trying to meet more creative people here as well in California. That was one of my goals, but it's gonna be it's a slow process. I'm not gonna like push it too much. It's just something that is gonna be in the back of my mind. And I'm also gonna try to involve my friends more in some of my content creation stuff. So that should be fun as well. But this is me, finally back in California, how I feel, what I'm trying to do. And it's a lot, but I'm excited about it, and it's good to be back. It really is good to be back. It feels nice, and I'm ready to get things done. And I'm also like kind of thinking about when I want to go back to Japan as well. Like I feel like it's life feels way too good there to not want to go back and try it again. So yeah, it also feels like time is so much slower there. I think back to like when I started the YouTube challenge and everything, and it was basically about, well, at this point, about 7 weeks ago, and I'm like, it feels so long ago that I was doing it, but yeah. Interesting how time moves so much slower when I'm in Japan. Okay, that's it for this one. It's gonna be a lot moving forward, and also like we have the good camera again. Well, we had it in Japan, but it was like a lot harder to use. Now I have all my equipment, including like lighting and my own space, and I don't have to worry about making too much noise. Okay, before we keep drone on, let's just end this. We'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.